after this short break. So see you here in just a couple minutes.
You can catch all our show archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cordoza. Bob is a noted financial expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known and syndicated show, Robert Cordoza Live, every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. With Bob, you'll get the right information at the right time, firsthand, from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Bob airs live every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cordoza Live, or you can choose any one of his archive shows at blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cordoza Live. That's blogtalkradio.com/Robert Cordoza Live. For complete and honest commentary on politics, finances, and culture, check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Joe Hakos here, Conservative Syndicate, and we were talking about the goings-on and the Baltimore mayor's request to have an investigation done on her police department. One day after the Attorney General Lynch showed up and met with all the important people to this process in Baltimore, I'm sure. But, I have one question. Is the Attorney General going to go pay a visit to Brian Moore's family up in New York? The slain police officer, just asking, I guess those lives don't matter. That's how silly this all is. Yeah, okay. But, I digress. Will she? I doubt it. Anyhow, getting back onto the mayor, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake's letter requesting the investigation to the Attorney General. Let's get back to some of the things that she brought up. You remember they made all these significant improvements. Obviously, they've been trying to solve this problem in Baltimore. Well, good on them. I'm glad they were trying to solve it. They seem to know there's an issue going on, but I don't think they're getting at the actual cause of a lot of these problems. But they're throwing money at it. They're going to throw $50K at it in the next 7 weeks for consulting. So typical, they've been in charge for 50 years. It hasn't worked out. Let's keep doing the same things, though. Same people are in charge, but why would you expect anything different? But anyhow, here we go. I don't know if you remember this, but Barack Obama in his statement April 28th in the Rose Garden with the Japanese Prime Minister, and he was touting the Trans-Pacific Trade Agreement and how great it's going to be for the American worker, which we know that's probably not going to happen. But he was out there and he was asked a question about Baltimore, and it took him 14 minutes of painful, agonizing rhetoric for him to make an answer. But one of those points he made is the federal government's going to provide grants for body cameras for our police departments. And lo and behold, what happens? In her letter to one of the things they did, they made a body camera working group in October 2014 that produced substantive recommendations to bring technology to the Baltimore Police Department. We are now moving into a procurement process that will have a body camera pilot program in operation in Baltimore by the end of this year, 2015. Go figure. What an amazing coincidence that is. I would have never thought that was going to happen. No way. Here's where your tax dollars are going. And, and the IRS is cheating on their taxes. So, that makes you wonder why we're even bothering sometimes. I know, it's okay. But during the most recent session, she says, in the Maryland General Assembly, she fought for substantive changes to the state's law enforcement officers' Bill of Rights that would assist in the disciplinary process of officers engaged in police misconduct. Well, her efforts did not win approval. But she's hopeful and optimistic that they will have greater success in 2016. Well, if you keep on having riots in your town, it just might happen. But, at what cost do you want to have that? Stop. Next time, let's do something to prevent the riots. Protest is one thing. Riot's a whole nother thing. I think you know the difference now, Steph. Anyway. So, General Assembly leaders yesterday, that would have been Cinco de Mayo, announced they have appointed a panel to study laws the legislature could pass to build greater trust between the police and their communities. Yes. Well, and her offer, you know what? And things are really bad in Baltimore because we just had a riot, obviously, because of police interaction with their community. Her efforts so far demonstrated progress. In 2015, citizen complaints alleging excessive force were down 46% in her own town. Almost 50% decrease. Things must have been pretty bad. If a 46% decrease is not enough, you need to have more. Well, obviously you need to have more. You shouldn't have any kind of police abuse. But hey, 46%. I guess you can't shake your finger at that one, right? Police discourtesy complaints were down 53% from her effort. Notices of lawsuits alleging police misconduct are down dramatically over the past 3 years. Our police department is also reporting greater success at punishing officers who are accused of misconduct. Well, good. They shouldn't be doing misconduct. That should not be going on. Yes, but not all of them are doing it, but you're painting them all with a broad brush. Nevertheless, it is clear more must be done, which is why I'm making this request for the Department of Justice to launch a federal pattern or practice investigation. I am determined not to allow a small handful of bad actors to tarnish the reputation of the overwhelming majority of police officers who are acting with honor and distinction. Thank you for your prompt attention to this request, which she knew what was going to happen yesterday because the AG was in town, and I'm sure they worked this all out prior to her exit. I hope that even with the launch of a pattern or practice investigation, the Department of Justice COPS program can continue to remain active in bringing technical assistance to the Baltimore Police Department. I look forward to continuing the dialogue about ways we can work together, bringing greater transparency, say it all together, accountability, and trust to the Baltimore Police Department. Sincerely, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, Mayor, City of Baltimore. Yay. Way to go, Steph. Awesomeness. Well, let's hope that all works out for Baltimore. I'm praying for you guys, man. I really am. So, we're coming up on the top of the hour here and our top of the hour breaks. So, right now, we are going to have a little visit with our friend Ron Edwards and the Edwards Notebook.
The United States has survived everything from wars to earthquakes. But can she survive Obama? Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, the British could not prevent the establishment of our republic. the divisive Civil War could not collapse America. The United States also triumphed over both the First and Second World Wars. Even the disaster that was 9/11 could not put us away. But in recent years, the level of immorality has increased to such a level due to a lack of passing down correct biblical and constitutional principles to young Americans has resulted in a nation that has gone far adrift from her manifest destiny as the beacon of light amongst the world's nations. The godly wisdom that made her the envy of the world has been replaced by a Marxist secularist dogma that has been gaining influence in every facet of society. The good news is that the pendulum of history is swinging toward a reawakening in America that will reconfigure our republic into once again being the land of the free and home of the brave, and most importantly, one nation under God. Mark my words. A nation is made great by its people and its values, particularly by its leaders and the values they embrace. You cannot tell by the actions taken by many of today's leaders and the values they promote that America was once like a shining city on a hill and symbol of God's blessings for mankind. The Bible states that when the wicked reign, the people mourn. For example, the wicked principles enacted against the free exercise of economic activity has America still in an economic recovery that isn't. As a result, amongst those who desire to open or expand a business in the United States are finding it easier to take their business elsewhere. Recently, major automakers have decided to bypass the United States and start building new production plants in Mexico and elsewhere. American history is vividly clear that a faith in God and a reverence for His wisdom once had a profound impact on the greatness of our republic. Was America perfect? No, but today's destructive mission of fundamentally changing America and ridding her of the policies and methods that helped her prosper in the past will not fix or right the wrongs of the past, but will only multiply the misery of today. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference has taken down one of their own, not for criminal activity, mind you, such as stealing funds or molesting women or children. He technically did not do anything wrong or illegal, unless, of course, one views things from the perspective of a Marxist progressive Democrat. The Reverend Samuel Mosteller, who's president of the SCLC Georgia chapter, was unceremoniously relieved of his duties because he dared to engage in the outlandish activity of telling black Americans to exercise their constitutionally guaranteed right to bear arms. So technically, he sinned against the elitist liberal plot to disarm sovereign citizens. The SCLC officials declared that bearing arms is violent and goes against their way of thinking. Isn't it ironic that the SCLC is supporting the same disarmament of black Americans that the Ku Klux Klan and the Southern Democrats used to violently impose upon black Americans? I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
You can catch all our show archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. Good evening, America, and those listening around the world. It's time for The Conservative Syndicate with your host, Jon Matthews, self-ordained, politically incorrect, mad prophet of the airways. The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most knowledgeable activists and pundits today that together seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information,